I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.
Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. I've got some fantastic secret knowledge that they know, that the ones with all the hidden books and everything, like in the Vatican and places, secrets that they know that I'm going to explain to you, like what we're looking at right here. Okay? We all know this is called the Washington Monument, right? And we all know that it's got this weird design to the sidewalks, and even the whole area of Washington, D.C. has got this strange design, and most people know that you can trace out all the roads, and it looks like an owl, the roads around Washington. And, of course, this image here kind of looks like an owl, like an owl's eyes, like a great horned owl. Let's see here. Great owl, for instance. Okay. If we just look at their images. Okay. Like this guy. Right? This guy right here. You see this image? What does it mean? What is it? Why is it like that? Well, it's very similar to this, and why they use the image of the owl in the roads. And I'm going to tell you what it is exactly. And I'm going to show you using a bunch of other images and things, and we're going to talk about the subject of the point of creation. Okay? All right. Now, you have to understand a few basic things here. Okay? Is that we're talking about symbolism. Okay? We're talking about the image of something. Okay? Like, if you were going to draw fire, how would you draw fire? There's no exact image for fire, because fire, the way it whips around and everything, it does a bunch of different images that you can see in the fire, but we could all probably still draw fire and know what it is, even though there's no exact way to draw fire other than maybe take a picture of it and copy it or something, right? The reason why I say that is because you have to understand that something being in the image of something else, it can be in the image of it in many, many ways. Like man being in the image of God, which is what we're talking about here, partially. But we're talking about we're talking about specifically right now, point of creation. Okay, so when they put this up, this monument, okay, in which this religion is an Egyptian religion, okay? At least it's based on it, okay? And it may go back further than that, but that's the best reference that we have at the moment, okay? So let's think about the human body, or let's talk about the point of creation. What is a point of creation? A point of creation is something that allows a spirit or anything, literally, to manifest into this world, into our world, okay? And most of you know I spell world, W-H-I-R-L-E-D. And most of you know why that is, which will help you understand what I'm trying to explain here today. Okay, get myself lost here. I understand it, but it's difficult to put into words. But that's what we're doing. A point of creation is a observation point or a manifestation point of something that is manifest into our world, like a child being born. Okay, how does a child get born, or even an animal? Most animals. Okay, let's stick to child. How does a child get born? Well, you have to have the man and the woman come together, like you see in this image here. You say, well, it's a monument. What is it a monument of? It's a monument of a point of creation. It is them saying we are creating something when they did this. They have the Vesica Piscis, which is sacred geometry, and all knowledge is not evil. It's a matter of whether you use it for good or evil. That's why the tree in the garden was called the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It almost should be or evil. But maybe there is some knowledge that can only be used for evil. Maybe, I don't know. Sacred geometry. This is a Vesica Piscis. It's the name given to it for a reason. Okay? Vesica Piscis. And we all know that the center area right here looks like the human vagina, as well as other types of animal vaginas. Okay? And you have this phallic symbol, this basically an image of a vagina and a penis together in an image. Okay? It's an image of that. But what the image is doing, what they're doing here is they are saying they are creating what? They have created, and of course you notice they've got the waters that are here, right here. The memorial. A memorial is something you're remembering. So you have the war memorial near this point of creation. And you also have the Lincoln Memorial. Both of these memories, or these attempts to remember, are based in lies, especially this one. Now, you may not understand why I would say something like that, but it is. You might notice also that this is in the shape of a Vesica Piscis as well. Looks very much like the image of Mother Mary without her being in the middle right here, you know. But this is definitely an image of a Taurus. It's an image of a gateway, okay. You have plenty of symbolism here to all these towers running around it, around the edges, the shape of it, everything. It's a creation. It's a manifestation. Something that they're proud of, that they did. Led millions of people to their death. And then another memorial trying to get you to remember, because remembering is, or thinking of, knowing of, is manifestation. And so that's a lot to do with what they've got going on here. Okay, what you are looking at is them manifesting into our world their creation, their nation, right? Their system, their one world order. Okay, and they're showing this point of creation because you have to. I'm not saying they couldn't have done this without doing this, but what they're doing is they're putting the truth in plain sight and then dropping lies all over it. Okay? But the truth is here that they are in fact creating a point of creation because they created the nation. You see? You got the birth waters, you got the memorials, the other Vesica Pisces, and there's so much here I could talk all day just probably looking around this map, but that's not what we're going to do. Why does the point of creation have to do with the head? Why would this owl have the image of the Taurus, which is sacred geometry as well? Okay, most of you should know basic stuff like sacred geometry, meaning you've seen it before and know what I'm referring to. So if I just click that, images, okay, open this up. You see, basic sacred geometry shapes. Now, what does it mean? Why are they sacred? What it means is that these are the shapes in which our world flows. These are the basic images of how not only our world flows, how it is created, how it functions, and just everything about how this world works is basically right in these images. You can go out and you can find these images. You can find them all around you where you're at right now, but you can go out in nature, and these images are in the plants, in the leaves, in the trees, in the bark, in the soil, in the flowers, in the fruit in the garden. There, and it's all over your body. You are this. You just don't understand it. You don't understand that the geometry that is in these charts is showing you the functional design and energy flow of all living things. Right here. Right here is the Vesica Pisces that we were just talking about. You see it looks like an eye, like the CBS eye. Why do you think they use a point of creation as their television icon? TV logo. And you probably want to go back and understand what the word logos means. But TV logos, like this. CBS, there's your Vesica Pisces. It's a point of creation. You see? What are they creating? They're telling a vision. They're creating your mind. They have been. They've been telling you a vision of what they want you to believe the reality of the world is. Meaning, they want you to believe it's WORLD, and I'm telling you it's this. Excuse me. That. And of course, I'm not the first person to ever talk about sacred geometry. I'm just the first person to show you and talk to you about point of creation and what this is. Why this is. What's the purpose of it? You can see that they've got a point of creation, a manifester, just like the eye. But even more importantly is the eyes, the two eyes. You see? Because they work together to create the true point of creation. Trying to think of the right words to use in trying to explain this, okay? I know I'm explaining it pretty well, but I mean, we all know that there's like thousands of logos out there that are using this kind of stuff. Like you can see it all over this one here and stuff. It's everywhere. It's in, they call it vectors. Okay, it's the geometry of these curves. It's why CERN is built the way it's built. It's the geometry behind how the world works, how your body works, how everything works. Is just in these images. if you can see it. And that's what we're focusing on, is being able to see it, which is why I am explaining the point of creation. Let's go here. Let's look at some slides. And I don't have these in an exact order, all of them. A few of them are, but I might have to look around a little bit, but because there's a lot of information in here, hundreds of slides. So I'll just read what I've got here. Secrets from the Garden of Eden, the gateway, the portal, the gateway computer, the Will.i.am gates windows, the Dell computer, Dell as in deity, L, micron as in size, meaning micron, tiny micron. I used to work for Micron Electronics. I was the number one salesperson out of about 1,000 salespeople. Not only number one, but I was number one by multiple times over performance-wise. Anyways, everything in nature imitates or is in the image of heaven and or God in one way or another. Man observes nature slowly and carefully from all possible angles and perspectives, and then has copied it. That's what all the sacred geometry stuff is about, is observing nature carefully and slowly from all possible angles, inside and out, upside down and backwards, and then copy it. How do you think they've created all the things? Something simple like a kookaburra. Where do you think they got Velcro from? You ever walk through a kookaburra bush or even buy one? Those suckers will not let go. All they did was copy it and put it on a strip and turn it into plastic, right? These are the secrets of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or maybe it'd be or evil, but I'm not the judge. Nature common observations, a hurricane, tsunami, shape of the torus field with an eye. A hurricane, tsunami, not tsunami. Well, we got tsunami up there. Well, that's actually true too. The way a tsunami moves, and then especially comes up in a wave, is also based on the functionality and flow of how water wants to move. And how does it want to move? It moves in the sacred geometry fashions. We all know it. You flush the toilet. There's the grand secret right in your face. Point of creation right in your face. Even though it's not exactly, because it's a toilet, but it's the water flow is what I'm referring to. A hurricane, I've explained to you, in order for a strong hurricane to form, you have to have a lower level low and an upper level low. You have to have two toruses. The first low gets in place and maybe becomes a category 1, maybe something like that. But in order for it to get on up there 3, 4, 5, the upper level low has to come back over the top. So then you have two toruses. Then you have two toruses that have come together, okay? And when they come together, of course, you get the eye of the storm, okay? Let's see here. Yeah. So you get kind of this right here, the Vesica Piscis with the point of creation in the middle. Okay. This can be looked at as your eyes, because you got your point of creation in your head. for sure is directly between your eyes for a human being. It's called right behind the Vesica piscis. It's where the fire, the spark, the actual life that exists within you is there. The Christa Galli. The galley is the place where Christ hangs out in you. God is, the whatever names you want to put on it, exists within you, the power, the spark that I've explained and shown you guys. So let's go back over here again. Let's keep going. So remember, you have to have 2 Tauruses to get a strong hurricane that creates and destroys, doesn't it? A hurricane absolutely creates new beaches, creates new all kinds of things. Of course, it destroys as well. Supercell thunderstorm, especially with tornado formed, because then you have, again, a supercell. A cell? Yeah, a cell. A cell just like the cells you have in your body, because they function the same way. All the cells in your body and the energy flow even within your body especially functions in this manner. But we're focusing on the point of creation. Animals in nature show an image of the Taurus on them, like the owl face, which I showed you. The slug or sea snail shell, like the conch. Conch meaning conical. The conch shell, the conical shell. The shell that's in the image of heaven. Yep, it's right there in our face. The shape of a fish. What is it? Well, we all know it. It's in the shape of the eye. Just like your eye, Things in the water tend to take on the image of God quite often, if not in every case. Some of them are hard to figure out. They're like an octopus. The Vesica piscis is also the shape of the almond seed, and most other seeds are similar. Think about a seed, what it looks like an almond. We've all eaten those before, right? An almond seed. What are you eating? You're eating a point of creation. You're eating a seed. It's in the same shape as your eye. Heard of people having almond-shaped eyes? Well, we all do. Just a little bit of variation, between them. The leaf of many trees is in the shape of the Vesica piscis, and the pine cone has the shape of a Taurus. The tree itself, with the roots below and the head of the tree above, with the center of the tree with rings of growth, make up a whole Taurus as well. You see a tree with the roots down in the ground spread out, then it's got its limbs up above spread out. So you got the top and the bottom of your Taurus, with the eye of the storm being the stalk itself. You see it's in the image of, but not exactly the same. But you can see, at least I know I can see the Taurus on a tree. Why do you think that the word tree was chosen when they talked about the garden tree? The tree that no one was supposed to eat from, meaning consume, to gain knowledge of. But that cat's out the bag, ain't it? They said if you knew these things, you would become gods like God, right? But you'll die like a man. But they're trying. They're rebelling continuously and trying. But what they do is they gain this knowledge, and instead of using it for good, of course, they use it for evil. Let's see here. The seeds fall from the tree and land in the center point, aka the calm area below the head and above the root, and creation repeats. You see, the seeds fall down under the tree itself, most of the time. You know, like if you're talking walnuts or something, they fall and they stay pretty close. But then some trees have developed wings for their seeds. You ever seen some of those flying like little helicopters and stuff? They have wings. Another word for wings is lips. But let's stick with the wing term, because if you go back to the point of creation that Moses built, the tabernacle, which the tabernacle that Moses built is in the image of man. I've done videos on this before, and I've shown you that the Holy of Holies, that part of the building, is the body itself, the human body. The holy place. The Holy of Holies is the place where only Moses could go, basically, right? It's the Holy of Holies. It's the point of creation. It's this kind of thing going on here, okay? And here we have the bird. He's got wings and he has the point of creation on his face, as far as the image of the point of creation. And to be quite honest with you, sorry about that. PC acting up again, but I think I'm still recording. Yes. There's something up with the owls. There's some kind of special, we'll call it superhero power. Now we know owls have superhero powers, but there's something that that we are not aware of, but I have a hint what it is. But it's not for this video really, but so I digress. So let's come back over. Okay. Most spiders will build a web that is in the image of the torus field lines. You see a spider web, I mean, if we just Google spider web. Spider web. Okay, right? Spider web. Pretty straightforward as to how it's designed, right? Let's just open this one up real quick. There we go. And what is that? Well, it looks like the pupil of your eye, doesn't it? Doesn't this look like your eye? And if you look at an eye real close up, you'll see that it looks very much like this, which I have some imagery of that kind of stuff we'll get to in a minute. But here you have the pupil of the eye in here in the middle, or the eye of the storm. And where does the spider hang out? He hangs out here in the point of creation. And all these are the lines that run around in an ever-expanding circle, right? That make up an image of a torus, and also an image of a lot of things, but just simple image of a torus is probably good enough point, right? So most spiders will build a web that is in the image of the torus field lines. Some spiders do not build the same image, but all build a web in the image of a torus. Bees, honeycomb, and let's see, and where the baby bees develop, are in the hexagonal cube design and creation, aka birth of the bees, happen there too. Where? Well, if you look at a tree, let me just say beehive and see what pops up. Of course, there's different types of beehives, but what do you have right there? You've got a torus. That's a torus field, or the image of a torus, like that. Image of a torus. And where does all the baby bees get born? inside the image of the torus in the point of creation. Yep, they sure do. And then, of course, here we have the hexagonal cubes. When you shine light through honeycomb, you can see that the design is based on sacred geometry, the cubes, because it's the most basic, least amount of material to build the strongest home that nature could do. Let's see. Extreme low temperatures on the outer edge surrounding the entire process. It is very cold if you go north, south, or any outer border of our reality, including up and down. Okay? Like, I lived in Idaho for quite a while, and they had lava tubes out there you could go walk down into, and it was like huge long caves down into the ground, and the further down you went, the colder it got. You would go down so far that everything was frozen. But it's hot down there. That's what they say, right? Cold temperatures on the outer edges. Where that comes from is how CERN and what is that computer company named D-Wave that makes those computers? They can only operate at extreme low temperatures, hundreds of degrees below zero. And I make that point because it plays into all this somehow. It's just an observation I made. Let's see here. The crown worn by self-claimed royalty is in the image of a torus, aka halo. Each peak on the crown is a frequency vibrational node point, just like I've shown y'all guys on the conch shells. Okay. The nodes are where energy is concentrated and crosses at the highest levels. The nodes is where it's like a creation point in itself, a minor creation point in itself. It's highly energetic. Similar to a hurricane with the bands of supercell thunderstorms in vector lines spiraling out from the center. The same can be seen on a conch seashell, which I got it spelled incorrectly there. But I ain't never been one for spelling stuff so great. The design of the human female breast, also similar to the U.S. Capitol building rotunda, with the layers of torus pillows and nodal points all around. Yeah, that's what these things are. These are the nodal points. If this is still working. Let me reload it. Hang on just a second, guys. You know, like the pillars on the White House and the pillars on all these buildings, they're nodal points. They're energy cross points. They're where the energy is highest in the natural form of the way God designed this world. WHIRLED, world. Because we live in a world, not on a ball. Okay? We live in the point of creation. It's where all things, from the tiniest thing all the way to heaven, all the way to God, it's how he's made things. Everything is repeating at fractional scale and fractional levels. Let's switch to a different slide set here, and I'll show you a few more things. Although, actually, I can't really do it on that one. Let's look at this slide here. Everything repeating on a fractal basis. Well, this is that. See how that works? This is the point of creation in the middle, generally. Okay, in this image it is. But like this is an upper level, lower level kind of thing. The root's below, of course. So here we have the apple, typically attributed to the garden as being the fruit. Although it never mentions apple, of course. It's talking about the fruit, but why is it talking about the fruit? Because the fruit is in the image of the point of creation. It's the secret. You have an apple here that is in the shape of a hurricane, a torus. And it has the seeds in the middle. And of course, the apple itself looks like a female stuff, you know. And here you have even the apple leaf itself in the image of the Vesica piscis. Where do the seeds form? Where does life come from? It comes from the center of the storm, the point of creation. So the Bible states that God made man in the image of himself. We also know that our children are in the image of us. See how it repeats? Everything repeats on a fractional scale. Then your children will go and have children and they'll be in your image again. And we're the children of God and we're in his image. That's just how it works. You can prove the existence of our God simply in this conversation. And we now know that the Moses tabernacle and the two temples that were made via the instructions from God in the image of man were made in the image of man, which then obviously makes them in the image of God also. So, if God made the man and his temples in his image, what image would he have made our world in? Huh? The whole thing is in the image of a torus, for a lack of a better word. God always in the Bible says that he speaks from the whirlwind. What is the whirlwind when you define it? Go back and translate it in Hebrew and in Greek. It's a storm. It's a hurricane. It's a thunderstorm. God spoke out of the point of creation. God speaks out of the point of creation. And how did it say that God created this world? He spoke it out of his mouth, which is a point of creation. You have an almond-shaped mouth with two wings or two lips, one on the other side. And you have a sword in your mouth. Oh, you thought it was a tongue, did you? It's a sword. What did Adam and Eve cover up after picking the apple or consuming the knowledge? What did they cover up? They covered up the point of creation, or one of the points of creation that are on the man and the woman's body. They hid what they discovered. You understand? See? Here in the middle. Why do you think all these old hundreds and thousands of year old temples have all this kind of imagery in there? It's all showing you, but not telling you. Showing you, but not telling you. See, it's about the knowledge that comes so that you can look at this image and understand it. But basically, once they learn the knowledge of the trueness of God and of nature, which is what I'm showing you and teaching you, they were said to be ashamed of exactly what they learned, so they covered it just like the Freemasons do. The two flaps over the what do you want to call it? Their private areas. Those two flaps that look like a Gmail symbol, because that's what it is, because Gmail is just, it's their mail, Freemason mail. But those two flaps that they use that cover in front of it, those are the wings. The two wings. Just like your eyelids, your lips, your ears. That's not an ear. I mean, that's not a wing, it's an ear. Oh, yeah? You sure you want to debate that? It's a wing that catches sound, not air. And when you go into the ear and look at it, if you look at an ear from the side, it looks just like a uterus. A side section kind of a uterus. Down inside the ear, you have a what's the name of it? You have a torus inside your ear. Here we have this painting image of Mother Mary back here, but she's in a Vesica Piscis image. She's in the point of creation. She is, what they're showing here, like is creation, right? Mother Mary in a Vesica Piscis in the sky. Yes, the eye. The eye, the eye, the eye. The truth, everything we need to understand our entire world is literally right in your face. Literally right in your face. You say, well, how are eyes a point of creation? Well, how is that related? Well, they have two wings. They're in almond shape. You got two of them, just like a hurricane has two lows. They sure work a whole lot better together than by themselves. Just like a hurricane with two lows that have to stack in order to become powerful. Your eyes have to become single. You see? You see? Hallelujah. Ooh. I'm sorry. Sometimes God tells me things that blows my own mind when I'm just sitting here talking to you. Hang on a second, guys. Your eyes have to become single. Isn't that amazing? Do you understand what I just said? Wow. Your eyes have to become single. Wow. I got to think about that a while for myself, to be honest with you. That's amazing. That was just put in my head, and it just fell right out my mouth, and it's just, whoa. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. You see, if you never slow down, like you just watch, compare it to watching TikTok videos, right? Which I don't do. But if you have to slow down in order to observe our world. You have to slow down in order for your eyes to become single. You understand? You have to really pay attention and not just throw your time away. You have to slow down and observe and think and pray that God shows you these things. Got a little scene right here. It's just the intro, I think, for Stargate. Now, I want you to think about what we've been talking about, and I'm just going to play a little bit of this, okay? Look at the imagery, and I might stop it and read it back up, but look at the imagery and what they're showing with your new knowledge. Of course, you can see there that they are showing you. They're showing you, but they're not telling you. You see there, they had these together as one, and then they separated them into Stargate. The Alpha, the I. You see, there's a reason why the letter A is designed the way it is with the cross right here, because then you got a pyramid and you have the eye, the all seeing eye, as they call it, at the top. Even our letters, the designs of them are highly, highly significant, more than we could have ever imagined. All right. That's enough of that. Oh yeah, I did pull these kind of out, didn't I? Yep. See how they had it as the eyes, these two circles or worlds or gateways or point of creations. They have them together as one right here. And I'm sure as why. Mazda's new 2022 new rotary engine. Look familiar? It's based on what we've talking about. The design of it, everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. You see what they're looking at? Watch.
You wanted to see me, Chancellor?
Yes, Anakin, come closer. I have good news. Our clone intelligence units have discovered the location of General Grievous. He's hiding in the Utapau system.
At last. We'll be able to capture that monster and end this war.
I would worry about the collective wisdom of the Council if they didn't select you for this assignment. You're the best choice, by far.
These are orbs, like very much like the angels that I've been talking about and explaining, which the angels obviously are using the same laws of God with everything they're doing, obviously, and it's related directly to the point of creation. Look at these. These are like balls of water, right? And there's people swimming around inside of them. And I know that somehow know that I've never seen this movie, but I just haven't run across this. And I know it's tied to loosely at a minimum of what we're talking about. So like there's a Taurus. A couple more images. The eye of the storm. The point of creation, which is always in the eye. This is showing you, just reinforcing what I was talking about earlier. Vesica, Pisces, Mother Mary. And of course, it's all imagery of the point of creation. That's why these look like vaginas. I mean, it's a fact. And it's not perverted. God didn't create a perverted God. I mean, God didn't create a perverted human body. Only our minds allowed it to become perverted. Because for whatever reason, after the garden, we're wired to do stupid stuff and think stupid stuff. But yet at the same time, we have the ability to do anything we set our mind to. Right? It's crazy. It's amazing. Here's your Taurus. Yep. Your Taurus. Where creation happens. The point of creation. And of course, this is an image of how, in a way, our world even functions. It's going to be hard for somebody to get that, but we're talking about the image of. And if our world is not in the image of the point of creation, it would make absolutely no sense. See, point of creation is going to have wings. It's going to have gateway. Here's your gateway right here. Okay. The cervix. It opens and it closes, just like your eye. You say, well, how does this have wings? Multiple ways. You've got the fallopian tubes that are up in here as well. You also have the wings itself off from again, this is not profane, so I'm just going to say it, the vulva or the wings of the vagina, okay? It's all there. The hip bones, the shape of them, the shape of buttocks. You have two circles, two buttocks that come together, pressing together with what in the middle? Creation. The lines cross. You see? The lines cross. Here's the vagina in here. This is where creation takes place. This is why they're doing this. They're saying we are creating something. You can find these in all the major power cities around the world, where the ones that have the knowledge are hiding it. Let's see. Let's talk about the human brain for a second. You have an orb on your head. You literally have a bubble. Is your head, right? You have, go ahead and make this bigger. You have a suture that runs across your head where the two halves joined. You have a left and a right brain that come together and press together in the middle, just like in the point of creation. They cross over and have something to do with each other. They are a creation because there are two orbs with the life in the middle, which is where the Vesica Crista Galli is right between your eyes, right in there. So you have these two orbs, like the two low pressures. Yes, they're vertical and not horizontal in this situation. Okay. And even right here, you can see the brow of your eye is called the supraorbital torus. Supraorbital torus. It's telling you it's a torus. Your whole head is a torus. Everything that's going on is based on this design. Your ears, your eyes, it's all showing us what a point of creation is, which then tells us, when we can see that this goes all the way down to the macro, to the micro, and all the way up, or really down to the nano, and all the way up to heaven. It tells us what heaven looks like, or the image of. We can kind of see. It also tells us, it tells us all kinds of things. It tells us everything. This is why the Bible's called the Bible. Bi meaning two bulls, two horns, two Tauruses. Literally. What is a scroll? A rolled up piece of paper. What does it look like? Kind of like a hurricane. Rolled up. Kind of like a Taurus. Kind of like a pillar. Bible, two bulls, two Tauruses. You have to have two Tauruses to have a point of creation. The world. We live in the point of creation, where God put us. This is my angels video that'll show you what all the lights in the skies are. This is available. There's links down below, which is directly tied to this, but we're focused on point of creation right now. Here goes I've talked about this before plenty of times. All the imagery of same stuff that we're talking about. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Here's your Windows program coming across gateways through Windows, right? With the fire, the spark. Of course, this is Egyptian, and I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to spend much time there. You see, we live in a point of creation with a dome. All these points here, for instance, they're all nodal points. It's all the same stuff over and over. One time Disney told the truth. We'll say, well, that shows we were living in water. We do live in water. Move your hand backwards and forth. You can feel it. They just changed the name to air. Keep you dumb. All right, let's see here. I've got about, let's see, that's slide 39. I've got 200 more here, so it doesn't look like we're going to do all of this today because there's a ton more here. I'll leave the link to this below with these 200 or 300 slides, or 300 or 400, something like that. Well, let's see how many is here. Let me go down. Oh no, 790 slides. You can see it right there. I'll leave the link to this below the video as well, so y'all guys can come here and look through all this imagery, because you're gonna see what we've been talking about over and over and over and over, confirming what I've explained to you here. All praise go to my Father in heaven for giving me the ability and the breath to speak. Guys, don't forget that, well, hang on here just a second. Okay, so don't forget that I'm trying to do my own fundraiser to help me this time. And it's doing pretty well. I've got it set for, it ends in a couple more weeks. And I'm hoping and praying that it's going to do better and continue to grow. And I hope this knowledge earns maybe a tip from y'all guys, what I've shared today with you. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. And I thank you very much for all of you that have taken the time to come here and watch this video to learn the truth and to come over and help me continue to be able to survive and thrive. I'll put the link to this as well right below, and some other options, including my mailing address and all this kind of stuff. So with that, I think I'm going to call it a day. I love you guys. And I know a lot of you love me too. And we'll get through all this. You got to just stay strong and realize that sometimes the sacrifice is what's required to get the reward. Do you feel like you're sacrificing? What reward is it that you seek? All right, guys. I love you. Father in heaven loves you too. We'll talk to you again real soon.